Takeshi is a fierce fighter, but is distracted because his family's being held prisoner by the robots. He'll charge in to rescue them, revealing a shortcoming that may lead to his undoing.
These roads intersect, on each one I reflect. These lines write my story.
Welcome everyone, I'm One True Brick, coming at you with another LEGO Exo-Force review. This is set number 7701, the Grand Titan. It was released in 2006 for about $15 and had 196 pieces. Nowadays, you can kind of expect it to be around the same price as it was on eBay and Bricklink, between $15 and $20 at the time of this review. So this is yet another one of the human battle machines, and it is clearly, once again, going towards that unique color scheme that is very distinguishing for Exo-Force. It has this bright red color to it, a mata red color, and it also pairs that with the transparent green, which despite only having about a dozen pieces in that color on the set, really stands out along with the pilot's hair inside there. It also has some splatterings of black and white and gray, but for the most part, the red and the green stand out. Now, as is true with most of these sets, it has a Bionicle or Knight's Kingdom recolor, and in this case, it has these two red Toa Matau Air Slicer colored pieces, which I personally think are the best recolor of this wave. So out of all of the sets of this particular wave, it is probably most different from the rest in the way that it achieves its design. So unlike the Stealth Hunter that kind of has this swooped up kind of look, this has a more top-heavy kind of look to give it that bulk. And that is very important considering this set is, in story, the most heavily armored set of the wave. So it kind of has those long shoulder pieces right here to give it a tanky kind of look to it. It also has the most bulk in terms of parts in the torso, so there is a little bit of a gap here, but honestly not really all that much. You get lots of sloped pieces here and here to kind of make it look heavy. Now, out of all of the sets as well, it has probably the most amount of articulation. So we have the typical shoulder, elbow, hip, knee, and ankle movable parts, but you also get a spinnable disc right here so that you, if you wanted to, you could kind of point the cannon up and have it spin and fire at the enemy. And then also my most favorite feature of the set is the pincer function. So you can actually have it grab onto an enemy battle machine. Now, I will say this was my first Exo-Force set, so I'm a little bit biased. It is honestly probably my favorite of the line. Something really unique to note while looking at this model, though, is that unlike all the rest of the sets of this size, the shoulder joint right here is made up of the same piece as the elbow, and all of the other sets, as previously shown, and I grab the Stealth Hunter here real quick, have the full ratchet joint in the shoulder. I'm not really sure why LEGO decided to give it that look. Maybe it was to give it kind of a Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of feel, where it has a really bulky body but kind of small, more weak-looking arms. Or maybe the way the build was designed, there wasn't really space to fit a full ratchet joint in there. Regardless, I don't think it pulls away too much from the build. It doesn't really take away a whole lot in terms of posability and still honestly looks really nice. Another thing to note is that with this cannon, it is one of the first times LEGO kind of uses this building technique that was previously kind of considered to be illegal, and that is sticking a stud into a Technic pinhole. So as you can see, that is a standard stud, and right there, that is a standard Technic pinhole, and normally in previous builds this was considered to be an illegal building technique, but this was kind of the start of the age where LEGO started using that. They also have some use of rods, like kind of lightsaber pieces going into Technic pins, which in the past was also kind of an uncommon technique. So this set broke a lot of ground in terms of what LEGO was starting to do in their sets to give them more unique designs rather than just kind of using the standard stack bricks on top of each other and then also some snot techniques. There are some fragile points like these lasers here down by the cockpit. You also can sometimes, if you have this open, have this piece get knocked off, but for the most part it's a pretty sturdy build that's unlikely to fall apart very much if dropped or put in a storage container. And then of course with every single set there is a level of functionality. Of course you saw the ratchet joints, so you can kind of have some dynamic poses where you have stuff going around. Something else to note, because of the choice of joint, this can't really stay up, which is something I actually never noticed before, but that's unfortunate. And then of course you get that spinning function, the pincher function, and then also probably the most exciting aspect of the line, which was the gimmick. I'm going to turn off the lights here. If you've seen my previous reviews, you'll know what's coming next. There is a function that allows you to press a lever on the back and cause this to light up, which lights up a brick and then the cable and then all the way down to the cannon. Now the nice thing about this one is it actually attaches to one of the laser pieces, which means the whole thing lights up rather than just kind of being that red dot sight that most of the other sets kind of have. Then, of course, we have to take a look at the minifigure quick. So this character's name is Takeshi, and I'm going to get some light on him real quick. Now, Takeshi has some green hair and that kind of scowling face right there. And as is the same with Hikaru, if you turn around, he has a more dynamic kind of yelling, angry face. So if he's in the middle of a fight, you can kind of change his expression. And then, of course, because of the 2006 nature of these minifigures, there isn't a whole lot of printing. There is a torso print with some stars and a Sentai Mountain logo right here. And then there's no back printing, but there is still face printing on both sides, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna go ahead and stick him back in there. So one of the other aspects of these sets is that they have a lot of combo models and alternate model possibilities. And as I showed you from the Stealth Hunter review, there is a certain model that it can be built into if combined with the Stealth Hunter. That model is called the Mountain Warrior. And it also has some alternate models that you can build based off some pictures that you can find online, and I will be linking those pictures in the description at the wiki. So if you're curious about that or anything related to the story, you can go there. So now with the review out of the way, one of the other things I like to do when looking at these sets is to consider their story prevalence. So this particular battle machine was used by Takeshi during the Split Mountain era. It was the only first wave battle machine not to be mass produced. So Uplink, Stealth Hunter, the Gate Defender, the White Lightning, basically all of those eventually got future duplicate models made so that different members of Exo-Force could use them. This one was an only child. It was the only one that was ever built and used. Oddly enough, despite Takeshi being given an upgraded model called Supernova as an option, he uses that one for a little while and then goes back to using the Grand Titan. It seems that he preferred using this battle machine. Maybe it was because he trained in it more. It is also notable that it has a more powerful raw weapon discharge, so when it is firing its primary cannon, it does more damage than the Supernova can, but overall that it's not usually advised because it was likely to disable the Grand Titan after a single shot. So fire at one time at full power and then the whole thing shuts down. It seems to be based off ancient designs of the Blade Titan. So the Blade Titan's another set that came out the following year, but it was actually designed in story way before this one was, and it has very similar designs to that model. So it is probably likely that somebody saw a picture of it or saw some schematics of it and used that in order to develop this battle machine. Something that everybody asks is, what do these symbols on the shoulder mean? So this is a CO1, and the C stands for combat. So that is a combat-derived battle machine, and the O1 means it's the first battle machine that had that designation. So it was the first combat-oriented battle machine developed for Exo-Force. Probably the most interesting aspect is that its pincers right here, so this fun functionality that you can use to clamp onto an enemy battle machine, as long as that enemy battle machine is not shielded in any way, it can actually electrocute them. So once clamped on, it can send a charge through the enemy battle machine, disabling it, or maybe even making it explode. In story, though, this battle machine was very slow. It has a lot of armor and power, but as a result, it was very slow on the ground and couldn't move very fast. So even though it had the most powerful attack capabilities, something like the Stealth Hunter or Uplink might make more sense in battle if you needed to travel somewhere very quickly. So, with that done, if you guys have any more questions, you can check out the wiki to look at more of information about these sets. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week when I take a look at the final $15 set, the Thunder Fury. Thanks! Bye! There is a dual injected black and red Vaki staff, so similar to the other sets, there is that mocking potential with that particular piece, and of course, I'm sure